Hello and a massive warm welcome to the Celtic Forever podcast, where on today's podcast we're going to discuss the latest Celtic news, rumours and gossip. We're going to go through the big preview of the dinamo Zagreb game and much more. So remember, turn on that notification bell, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, hit the share button as well. Okay folks, let's get right into it. Welcome to the Celtic Forever podcast. We've got a lot to go through. We've got the big preview of the Zagreb game. We've got all the latest Celtic news as well to go through, rumours, stuff like that. Let's say hi to John. How are you, John, after the weekend's game? Nice 3-0 win, 3 goals, 3 points, 11 points clear of our rivals and 9 points clear of Aberdeen with a game in hand. It just, no matter what happens, we're going to be top of the league at Christmas and at New Year, John. Just brilliant, isn't it?
Aye, we'll be at top of the league at the end of the season as well. So aye, it's all good.
That's true, I suppose. Yeah, that's true. But no, we're here to talk about the big game on Tuesday night. We Dinamo Zagreb. We're going to go through their forum, their players to watch, all that kind of stuff. And it makes good reading for Celtic, you know. I know that goes for nothing, but we'll go through some Celtic news that's happening just now first, John. And it's not the greatest news. The Celtic fans been targeted by the Zagreb fans, John, already. The ones that have turned up already. Obviously, the Zagreb fans targeted the Borussia Dortmund fans when they were there, so they're doing the same to the Celtic fans. The club have urged the fans to try and stay safe, you know, stay close to the stadium, don't go wandering, things like that, John. So just, it's not the best of starts of hearing news like that. Celtic fans being targeted by Zagreb fans.
Aye, these people don't get anything better to do with their time, you know. What's it all about? Absolute clowns. Anybody that gets herself involved in any of that stuff just need to grow up, you know. This isn't a battlefield, it's a game of football, for goodness sake.
Yeah, that's it, John. Yeah. You know, obviously their team's in disarray, so they've got to find something to do, so they're picking on any away fans that go to their stadium. So all we can ask is Celtic fans, you know, be safe, get there, watch the game, come home and just be safe. That's all we want from all the Celtic fans heading out to Dinamo Zagreb, John. So, okay, we'll leave that there. There's not much else we can say about that. Just be safe. Hopefully the fans listen, but sometimes, John, it's not in your hands, isn't it, when you're coming up against thugs like that. So, as we said, John, just stay safe. Okay, let's move on to some other news. Celtic news happening earlier on today. Celtic have an option to trigger the Schmeichel extension, John, to his contract. So Brendan's looking at that to trigger to extend the trigger, to open the trigger for an extension to his contract for another year. So yeah, an extension for a year, John, that would be a bonus. I know we would want to sign for another maybe 2 or 3 years, but we've got to bear in mind his age. But yeah, John, another year extension, that would be a massive bonus for us.
Aye, especially after yesterday's performance. I would certainly welcome just another year, even Kasper Schmeichel at Celtic. He's a tremendous keeper. I would certainly welcome that. I hope he does stay because, as we witnessed yesterday, he is still a world-class keeper.
Of course, yeah, sure. He's got the reflexes, he's got the movement, he's got the ability. Age is not an issue for Kasper Schmeichel just now, is it? So, yeah, if he signs that extension anyway, which I think he will, I know Brendan wants to sign, you know, the player's happy at the club, so I think he'll sign that extension. Just to have him here for another year, John, would just be absolutely tremendous. You know, he's a massive presence in that dressing room as well. You know, you can tell all the players just love him to bits. So, just a bit like Big Joe Hart, you know, that massive presence in the dressing room. So, yeah, a year extension would be absolutely brilliant, as you say, John, especially after a marvellous performance against Hibs on Saturday. He was tremendous, wasn't he?
It just shows what he's capable of still doing. That's the good thing about that. He's not really been called into too much action in Scotland, but at the weekend they showed exactly why Brendan brought him here. Absolute world class. I think every Celtic fan would welcome that. A 1 year extension, bring it on, aye.
Yeah. Okay. Let's leave that there. Let's get on to some other news. Big Hartson's been in the news, John. Big John Hartson. His opinion on Lewis Palmer is his run at Celtic, John. I want your own opinion on this, and I'll tell you mine. He thinks he's flattered to deceive Lewis Palmer. He's flattered to deceive at Celtic so far. He's still a Celtic player, but he thinks his race is run and it should be sold on in January. What's your thoughts on that, John?
My thoughts on that, I said that a year ago. His race was run. He's a player with loads of ability. We know that, Lewis Palmer. Good technical ability. But if he was to leave Celtic, I don't think there's too many fans would be broken-hearted with that. That's my opinion on it.
Yeah. Yeah, as you say, John, he's a player with ability. He never showed it. He didn't show it often enough, if you like. I think he's a player that just never settled down at Celtic, did he? And when you've got Dyson Maeda in front of you, John, he's going to struggle anyway, isn't he? So we'll wait and see what happens in January with him, John, to be honest with you. The Lewis. I don't know. I don't know what my personal feelings are. I don't know if I want him to leave or stay. Injuries can happen at any time, can't they? But I think Celtic will be looking in the transfer window, if he does leave, to replace him, I would imagine.
Well, it's one in, one out, isn't it? It's a one out, one in. So I think Celtic would replace him if he left, but it's plain and simple. He's no good enough for Celtic. The technical ability-wise, he's fantastic, but he's just not the product Celtic are looking for, Xander. I've said that for a long, long time. So have you, and so have probably 90% of Celtic fans. I think his race is run. I totally agree with John Hartson.
Yeah, okay. Moving on, Johnny Kenny. John, he's due to return in January. The on loan striker, we've all forgotten about it. Johnny Kenny at Shamrock Rovers. He banged in 18 goals for them, John, in 32 appearances. An absolute tremendous return for Johnny Kenny over at Shamrock Rovers. But he does return in January, John, but I don't know. I can't see him getting his chance at Celtic. But he's supposed to be flying just now, Johnny. So what's your thoughts there? Johnny Kenny just be sent right back out on loan again?
Get no idea what his plans will be, but if he's banging in the goals at Shamrock Rovers, then I don't know, maybe Brendan will want to have a closer look at him and have him as a third striker option. I've no idea, Xander. And maybe he'll just extend his loan at Shamrock Rovers. No idea.
Okay. Yeah, just I was wondering what your thoughts were. So let's know what your thoughts are in the comments. But we should be thinking about with Johnny Kenny. We've never seen him really, have we, John, in action for Celtic? But as I say, nearly 20 goals in 32 games. It's absolutely amazing return. Even if it is in Ireland, John, for Shamrock Rovers, it doesn't matter. The boy knows where the net is, and that's why we signed him in the first place. So, as you say, John, Brendan might want to have a wee look at him before he makes his mind up. Give him a wee game or two when he returns in January. We'll wait and see what happens. John, we said last week there was no rumours for players signing in January. There's a couple. The one we already knew about, Lennon Miller, but there's strong links with him in January. John Lennon Miller. I don't know what your thoughts are on signing Lennon, but John, there's strong links from coming to Celtic in January. Brendan likes what he sees in the player. But what do you think, John? Do you like what you see in the player?
It looks alright, I suppose. I mean, I've only ever seen him when he's playing against Celtic, so I can't really comment on the boy, but what I've seen so far, he looks a half-decent wee player, but is he good enough for Celtic? I don't know. Everybody seems to be raving about him. Maybe they know more than I do about him, but personally speaking, I've only seen him a couple of times, so I can't really comment on it.
Okay. It'd be good as a backup for me, to be honest with you, Lennon Miller. I think it would be good in there as a backup. Quality players, you can't have too many of them at the club, and I think he is a quality player. He just is a wee bit raw. I think he's just a youngster, isn't he? 20-year-old, I think he is. So yeah, get him in the door, see what he's got to offer. It's we've already signed the boy for Dundee, didn't we, Luke? So if he's half as good as Luke McCowan, then we've got a player in our hands, John. That's the way I look at it.
Aye, look, I know he's highly rated at Motherwell, and a lot of people speak about him on phone-ins and stuff. So if he's that good, I can't really comment because I've only seen him twice, 2, 3 times, whatever. But if he's that good, Motherwell's going to be commanding a high fee for him, I would imagine.
Yeah, who knows what the fee? A couple of million possibly, John, if he's, attracting attention from other clubs. We don't know. We just don't know. We need to wait to January to find all that out. But that's an early link to Celtic, an early rumour, Lennon Miller. But we also knew about him a few months ago, didn't we? That he was linked to Celtic. But the links are turning real, John. It's a serious connection here. Brendan likes what he sees, so we'll wait and see what happens with Lennon. Okay, and one more name for you, John. I've never heard of this boy, but Aston Villa paid 20 million for him. 21-year-old midfielder. Let me get this pronunciation right. Chukwuemeka. He is linked to Celtic. Central midfielder, John. 21-year-old, talented midfielder. But we've heard that before for the Premier League, haven't we?
Aye, not all that glitters is gold in the Premiership. Let me assure you of that.
Yep.
Aye, that's just another link. I don't know anything about him anyway, so I can't comment on players that I have no idea about. But Brendan knows the Premier League pretty well. He seems to know what he's looking for. So aye, wait and see what happens.
Yeah, he's down there anyway. I think he's a Chelsea player, John, just now. But as you say, we'll wait and see what happens on January the 1st. But there'll be more rumours between now and then, I would imagine. But that's the first couple of rumours that have surfaced. Right, John, that's it. That's all we've got for news. Let's get into the big preview of the Dinamo Zagreb game. Absolutely massive if we get the 3 points, John. I think that more or less puts us into the knockout stage, the last 16 knockout stage, or the round of 16 into it. It'd be just amazing if we got there, John, with a win against Dinamo Zagreb. But it's not going to be easy. We know they're known for them. We're going to run through their form in a wee minute. But what's your thoughts, John, what's your early thoughts, if you like, on this one?
Take a point and run. That's my thoughts. If we get a point there, I'm more than happy with that. That would put us on 9. Then, obviously, we've got young boys at home after that. I think that's... I don't know if it's a gimme, but it's a really good chance for Celtic to qualify for the playoffs. If we get a draw against Zagreb, and obviously a wee win at Celtic Park against young boys, I think that's it. I think that's us into the qualifiers, which is a fantastic achievement. But looking ahead to this team, Zagreb, I don't know anything about Zagreb. Well, I know it's in Croatia. That's as much as I know, to be honest with you. But either no informed, so a good chance of taking a point there, Xander. But we don't know anything about them, so we'll need to wait and see.
Yeah, we need to wait and see. But they have got 7 players out, John, for this one, and the main one is Sandro, the striker. The big man. It's he scored a barrel with the goals, and he's 14 goals he scored already. But he is definitely out with this one, John. So that's good news as well, John. Let me run through some of the players that are out. Adeyemi, he's out. Nevistic, the goalkeeper, he's out as well, John. Sukic is out. Petkovic is out. Misic is out. Colombian striker Cordoba is out. And Spanish stopper Torrente is also out of this one, John. That is a massive amount of players they've got missing for this one, and they're off form as well, John, which is absolutely tremendous news for us. But as I keep saying, and I'll say it again, it goes for absolutely nothing, John, because in the Champions League, it's a different kettle of fish.
Aye, that's the best league in the world, isn't it? It doesn't matter who you play with, like we keep saying, it's the Champions League, so it's going to be quality. I don't care who it is. They're in the Champions League for a reason, and that reason is they're a good team. They're a half-decent team. They're no mugs. We know that. So we'll wait and see what they're like, because I don't think Celtic's ever played them, have they? I don't remember Celtic ever playing them.
Yeah, Celtic have played them 3 times in history, in all of history, John. So the 3 times we've played them, I was going to have a wee touch on that, actually. The 3 times we've played them, we've beat them 3 times at Celtic Park, and they've beat us 3 times in Croatia, John. So I suppose that's no great news, but it's different times, isn't it? It's a different game, it's a different era, John. But 3 wins at Celtic Park and 3 wins for Zagreb in Croatia. So as I say, it's no great news, but that goes for absolutely nothing.
No, it goes for nothing right now, but I don't remember Celtic ever playing them. But then again, my memory's absolutely shocking, so I don't remember a lot of stuff for the past football game wise. But I was just looking at the Champions League table. Celtic's sitting in 20th, played 5 games. Dinamo Zagreb sitting in 23rd. They've also won 2 games, by the way. But they're sitting on 5 points. Celtic's currently sitting on... No, sorry, Zagreb's sitting on 7 points. Celtic's sitting on 8. So, it's a big game. That's both teams are going to be right up for this one, I think.
Yeah, it's massive, isn't it, John? Hopefully we get the 3 points. But as you say, John, a point, you would take it. It takes us into the young boys game at Celtic Park. It would be an absolutely fantastic position to be in. But, the 3 points, that's what we're looking for, isn't it? Because the bookmakers have actually got us as favourites in this one, John. We're actually favourites. It's unbelievable. Away from home, favourites. Never heard of the like, to be honest with you, in the Champions League. Celtic at 74 and Dinamo Zagreb at 2-1. So although it's just slight favourites, John, it's still favourites nevertheless.
Very unusual for a Champions League game. Look, we'll need to get that defence sorted before we go there, of course. That's got to be fixed. What I seen at the weekend gave me a wee bit of a scare, to be honest with you, how slack the defence were. So I'm sure that'll be sorted for the Zagreb game. Defend like we have been defending in previous Champions League games, apart from Dortmund, of course, then I think we'll be just fine over there, and I think we can take a point, possibly even sneak a win, especially if the bookies are looking at it that way,
Yeah, very slight favourites, John. Unreal. I've never heard of the likes it in the Champions League for Celtic. Apart from Bratislava, I think we're favourites at home, but I'm talking away from home. I don't ever remember us being favourites. So let's move on. Let's move on. Obviously, they've actually not won a game since the 5th of November. That's a massive, was it 4.5 weeks, something like that, nearly 5 weeks, John. They've not had a single win in that time. I think the last one was in the Champions League against RB Salzburg. They beat them 2-0. So yeah, John, it's looking good, for us, the team we're up against. But as I keep saying it, and I'll say it again, the Champions League, Celtic away from home, it's no easy. It's no easy at all for us. So as you say, John, we need to get that defence, locked tight, the defence. We'll run through what we think the starting lineup's going to be in a wee minute. But they're sitting third in their league, John, in Croatia, sitting third, 8 points behind the top. So, as I say, they're all form, John. They've no won since the 5th of November. We just hope that form continues on Tuesday night.
Aye, let's hope they maybe get another couple injuries as well in training or something like that. That's not the way you should be talking about footballers, but it's a bit selfish attitude there from me, but I don't really care. It's a bit Celtic for me, so the more bad news they get, the better, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, that's it, John. It's it. Let's have a wee look at the other players they've got in their team then, John, right? The ones that will probably start this one. Let me know if you've ever heard of any of these boys. Zagreb, the goalkeeper. Moharani. Catherine. There's a player called Catherine, John, believe it or not. Bernier. Gabriel. Kakavenda. ADMJ. Mkubu. These are difficult names to pronounce. Stojkovic. Hoxia. And Kulenovic, John. So that's their starting lineup. That's their predicted starting the lineup. I have never heard of any of them, John.
I know every one of them.
Yeah, but it goes for nothing, doesn't it? These players could be outstanding individual talented players, John. So that goes for absolutely nothing. But that's their predicted starting lineup anyway.
Sorry, Xander, had you muted there? It goes for absolutely nothing. But look, it's all right. I was saying, we don't know any of their players and all that. We're not laughing at their players, like you say. They're in the Champions League, so they're going to be great players anyway. But they'll be saying the same thing about Celtic. The Zagreb fans never heard of them. never heard of them. Doesn't mean we're a bad team. Just that you know nothing about the team, that doesn't make them a bad team. We know they're going to be a good team. We know they're going to be up for it. They're only a couple of points behind us in that league table. Is it just 1 point? Sorry, 1 point, I think it is.
Yeah, 1 point.
So aye, it's a 6 pointer, isn't it? So it's going to be a battle, I think.
Yeah, okay. All right, John, we're going to go through the predicted lineups for Celtic. That is, we've just done the Zagreb predicted lineup, which we've never done before. But I just thought it was strange with them having so many players out for this one. But let's go through the squad. What we think the starting lineup's going to be, the team that's going to take us into this round of 16, John. So, what are you thinking, buddy? You know, we were leaky in defence, but we were very, very leaky against Hibs. I'm talking about as in chances, 1-1 against the goalkeeper. We didn't concede any goals. We've got to bear that in mind as well. But we weren't at our best defensively. We weren't the best off the ball, were we? Celtic on Saturday. So, best your predicted lineups, John.
We never conceded any goals thanks to Kasper Schmeichel. That's the only reason we never conceded any goals. The defence was absolutely shocking. All trying to push up the park, trying to get goals and getting exposed badly. Just need to be very wary of Zagreb, because I think if they're doing the same thing to Celtic, they might take their chances. So got to be very, very wary. Anyway, starting lineup: Schmeichel, Vickers, Trusty, Johnson, Alex Valley, I hope. Centre of the park: Callum McGregor, Rio Hatate, and I'm hoping for Bernardo. Up front, the usual very fast three forwards that we've got: Diogo, Dyson, and Nicholas Kuhn.
Yeah, it's not far away from mine, is it? Let's have a wee quick run through mine. Schmeichel, obviously, in goals. Let's hope he doesn't get injured before. So Schmeichel in goals. Johnston, Trusty, Carter Vickers, Greg Taylor, I think we'll start this one. Callum McGregor, Arnie Engels, Rio Hatate, Nicholas, Dyson, and Kyogo up front, John. So yeah, that's hopefully the team that gets us the 3 points. That puts us in just a more or less guaranteed round of 16 place, John, if we get the win.
More or less, aye. So you're going for Engels ahead of Bernardo. You think he's going to start? I think Bernardo, Champions League, he's had the experience before. He was in it last season as well. And for me, it's got to be Bernardo, Xander. He's just a better player.
Yeah, I'm just going to be what I think Brendan's going to pick, John. I would like to see Bernardo starting the game. He's a very, very decent player. He's more than decent, John, isn't he? He's quality, Bernardo. I mean, some of the passes he finds in the game, some of the pinpoint accurate passes are just superb. He's got a good goal in him as well. He can defend as well. He can put in a tackle. So I like Bernardo. Arnie, on the other hand, I like him as well. He just needs time to settle, I think. I don't know what's going on with Arnie just now, but he got that goal at the weekend, so maybe that'll push him on in this one if he starts the game, John.
Maybe. I don't know, but I would rather see Bernardo start. For what I've seen from both of the players so far, I know Arnie will come good, probably. Well, I'm certainly hopeful that he'll come good. But what I've seen of them two players so far, Bernardo's a better player, a totally different class, and he's got a nice smile as well.
Okay. All right, John. Okay. That wraps it up. A nice smile. All I need is a prediction for the score off you then. This is never easy, especially away in the Champions League. So, what are you thinking, John? What's your predicted scoreline?
When I says he's got a nice smile, I just meant he's, you know what I mean? He's just, he looks
he's happy to be there.
Aye, he's just happy. That's what I mean by that, Sander. Aye. I love Bernardo as a player. I think he's quality. Anyway, score prediction. Tough one, isn't it? Very tough. They've got players missing. They're off form. But it is the Champions League. We know what Celtic's like away from home. Although they have They put in, who was it? They put in the performance against again away from home. They get the draw.
That was now you're testing me. That was the Italians coming. Atalanta was
Atalanta.
it? Yeah,
Aye,
yeah.
Atalanta. Aye. That's the thing about getting old, isn't it? You seem to forget things a lot quicker. I certainly do anyway. I know
I
that.
did. I did as well, John. Don't worry about that. I think we all do.
Aye. I think put stuff like that to the back of my mind pretty quick now, Xander, the older I'm getting, it just seems to into the back of the mind, doesn't mean anything. Just a daft draw, so I'll never remember it. But
Yeah.
it was a good draw. Anyway, enough kicking the tyres, score prediction.
You know.
I don't know anything about Zagreb again. I don't know anything about them. The only thing I know about Zagreb, like I says, it's in Croatia, that's all I know. I'm no bad with geography, but I'm terrible with remembering the results. I'm going to go for a 2 each draw, Xander. I'm going for a Desmond.
A Desmond 2-2, John. That's bold, very bold indeed. But I'm going to go even bolder. I'm going to say that I think we're going to come out there with a 1-0, John. I think we're going to win the game, actually. I think we're going to take the 3 points. It puts us into that round of 16 playoff, John. I think that's what I'm looking for anyway. I think they're in disarray as a club. They've no won since the 5th of November, whether it's home or away. So I think we're going to go there and get the win, especially with the form we're on, putting teams to bed, unbeaten, apart from Dortmund, we're unbeaten for the full season. I think you'll see the proper Celtic turn up, even though we won 3-0 at the weekend. It wasn't the proper Celtic. Players were rested. We've Big Cameron back as well, John. I think the defence will be solidified. The wee man Kyogo up front. I just think we're going to do it, John. I think we're going to get the 1-0 win that gives us the 3 points that puts us into the round of 16 playoffs, John. What do you think of that?
Aye, it sounds good to me, but it just depends what Celtic show up. Look, we know Celtic's a good team. We know if they play to their capabilities, they could easily go over there and get a win, no problem. They could go over there and turn them over 3-0 if Celtic turn up. But it's the Champions League and it's away from home. Celtic's record away from home in the Champions League, not great, as we all know. But if Celtic play the way we know Celtic can play, I think Celtic could easily turn up there and win 3-0. But for me, I'm going to say, the way I'm feeling right now about the whole thing, I'm going to say 2 each. I'm fancying a draw.
Yeah, bite your hand off for a draw, to be honest with you, John, and then take care of young boys at Celtic Park. That would be ideal for me. But okay, that's fair enough. A 2-2 or a 1-0, John. We'll take either one of them. Before we get on to the comments, John, just a wee quick word on Ange Postecoglou, John. Not having a good time down at Tottenham, is he? The fans want him out. Well, some of them do. After the defeat against Chelsea, they're sitting after, 10th, 11th in the league, something like that. How quickly things can change. These supporters turning on him after last season. I don't think I think they're still in with a shout for a European place, and they're still in the Europa League, and they're in all the cups in England. So Big Ange getting a tough time just before he turns up at Ibrox. John, what do you think of that?
It's not a good time for Ange to be getting a tough time, is it? No for the Celtic fans. I mean,
No.
because we wanted Ange going to Ibrox full of confidence on the back of a derby win. I thought Spurs were quite poor yesterday. I watched that game. They went 2-0 up within, I think, 10 minutes or something like that. 12 minutes, they were 2-0 up. It was just a case of bang, 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 bang. Chelsea turned them over. To be honest with you, it was just boring me to tears, and I switched it off. I just can't stand. I can't stand English games, and I seriously cannot stand it. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's the arrogance. Chelsea 2 penalties, of course. What that young boy that scored the penalty. It's the commentators that annoyed me. Ice cold Palmer and all that. So what is this crap all about? Get that off, man. Ice cold Palmer. Who do they try to kid?
I know, my grandson Ashton, who's only 8, could score for the penalty spot. So he's ice cool as well. So, okay, John, that was just thought I'd mention it because he's heading to Glasgow. Ange, Big Ange is back in Glasgow on Thursday night. So good luck to him anyway, John. That's all we can say. Right, comments, John. Let's run through a few of the comments before we go.
I just can't stand all that pretentiousness down there, Xander. I can't stand it. That's why I don't watch it. I just watched it because it was and just coming to Glasgow on Thursday. That's why I watched it, just to see what the result would be. Anyway, let's go on with the comment.
Sorry, John. It's the best product in the world when you watch the Bournemouth play Crystal Palace to a nothing each draw. It's absolutely the best product in the world. I love it.
Well, look, their league's obviously crammed with top-class talent. There's a lot of good teams in England, but when it comes to just having to listen to them talking, that's what annoys me about it. I just had to switch it off. Like, get that off. I've had enough. Ice cold part and all that stuff. What is that all about? Your parter's rotten, mate. Get off the telly. I'm not interested. Switch it into YouTube and watch a comedy or something. Garbage.
Yeah, the best product in the world's had the same team win the league for the last 5 seasons. So that's the best product in the world. So anyway, John, comments, what we're thinking, buddy. What the people are saying.
The people are saying this. Roseanne was saying 3 good points, guys. What more can we ask for? Our boys are still the best. I'm happy. Thanks very much, Roseanne. We're all happy with that.
We're all happy and hopefully even happier on Tuesday night, John. Thanks, Roseanne.
I will get your score prediction in the comments, Roseanne, because you're quite good at them. You're better than us anyway at getting the scores right. But 3 good points. Happy with that, Roseanne. Very, very happy with that. Could I be happier? Well, I could be happier. I would like to have seen the defence a wee bit better.
Yeah, that's what I'll get sorted, John. Celtic are not going to go gung-ho like that against Zagreb. That's going to be a totally different game altogether, really.
Aye. Anyway, thanks for that, Roseanne.
Cheers, Roseanne.
We would never sell our club for £1. Says, great to get the 3 points yesterday against a gritty Hibs team. Casper kept us in the game early doors and now on to Tuesday night against Zagreb and put in a good performance and get the right result and stand us in good stead for the final on Sunday, which is the bigger game for me, Xander, the final on Sunday.
Of course it is, John. That's they've come back out their boxes a wee bit, haven't they? So we need to put them back in their boxes. So but that's for Sunday, John. We're going to go through that. That's a whole different topic into it. We'll get this one out the road first and then we'll come on back to that. But John, we said at the very start of the season when Kasper Schmeichel signed that he was going to play a major part of the season, especially in the Champions League. And it's worked out that way already. He's put off various saves in the Champions League and we're looking from, well, hopefully he doesn't do the same actually on Tuesday night. Hopefully the defence have a quiet night, but we'll need him. We'll definitely need him on Tuesday night.
Aye, big personality, isn't it, Kasper? Yeah. He seems to have been around forever, Kasper Schmeichel. I remember him when he was playing here for Falkirk years and years ago when he was a young boy, but that must have been 20 years ago, eh?
Oh, aye. Yeah, that was a while ago, John. I remember him playing for Falkirk, actually. I remember Celtic putting a few past Kasper, but he was just a wee boy then, wasn't he, when he first started in the professional game. And look what he became, world-class goalkeeper for Denmark and for all his clubs and for Celtic. Absolutely, one of the best keepers we've had. There you go, I'm going to say it. He is one of the best goalkeepers we've had so far.
Better than Joe Hart?
It's early, John, but Big Joe put off some tremendous saves as well. I don't want to commit myself to that just now, but if he continues the way he's gone, yeah, he's better than Joe Hart.
Better distribution, do you think?
Yeah, it's good. Quality. Everything about him, John, is just top quality. There's no many mistakes in him either, John. Big Joe had a few mistakes in him, didn't he? So, but Big Joe was brilliant as well. It's close between the two of them, actually. It's close, but if Kasper continues with that form to the end of the season, we get to the round of 16, etc., winning the league, winning the cups, I just think if he continues in that form, he's a better goalkeeper than Big Joe Hart.
I'm going to stick my neck out and say he's definitely a better goalkeeper than Big Joe Hart. He's better with the ball at his feet. His passing out is absolutely fantastic with the ball at his feet. He's just like a defender in that sense. His shot stopping is second to none. He gets down low. Look at these saves he pulled off yesterday. Just unbelievable goalkeeper. But that's not to take it away from Big Joe. Big Joe, fantastic keeper, love him to bits. It was good to see him behind the scenes. I think it was against Rangers. I'm not sure who that was. I can't remember. But there was a video of him kicking about on YouTube where he's congratulating the Celtic players. He was doing his pundit for Sky.
Yeah.
And the Celtic players were coming off and he's giving them all a big hug and going, yes, come on. I think that was the game against Rangers. He was giving all the Celtic players a big hug behind the scenes.
Yeah, he's a Celtic man through and through, Big Joe. Let's be honest, he really is. It's quite good listening to him doing the commentary in the Champions League as well, actually. He's quite good on that. Yeah, he's a Celtic man, John. But I just think Casper, who's also a Celtic man, by the way, but I just think he's got that wee bit more quality than Big Joe.
I think he's definitely a better keeper, and not just my opinion. I'm sure Joe Hart would admit to that as well. Maybe Joe Hart in his peak might have been a better goalkeeper. I'm not really too sure. You look back at goalkeepers like that and you just say to yourself, especially Joe Hart when he was playing for England in goals, you never looked at him and thought, I could never see him being a Celtic man in the future. I mean, a true Celtic man. He absolutely loves Celtic, didn't he?
He does. It's the same as Big Chris Sutton, isn't it? You'd never have thought that about him as well. And no get a bigger Celtic man than Big Chris. So I think Big Joe has that's just the exact same, isn't he? So yeah, just great to have these guys at the club, John.
Brilliant, Xander. Chris Sutton, legend, total legend, a guy. Love him as well.
Yeah.
Very funny, very witty, very dry sense of humour. He's so funny, it's unbelievable. He cracks me up, Chris Sutton.
Yeah,
Joe Hart, it's good to see him with a Joe Bones guy as well. Could listen to him all day. He's a proper Celtic man like Chris Sutton. Aye.
Yeah, well said, John. Yeah, totally agree.
Right, anyway, thanks for that. We would never sell a club. Always good to hear from you.
Yep, cheers for that comment, pal. Give us a lot to talk about there. That was good.
James Doran says the next two games will shape Celtic's season and win both, and we will be in a very good place. But brother beaten stands in our way for the cup final on Sunday. I never knew that.
I didn't know that till I read the comment, to be honest. I thought it was too early to announce the ref, but if that's the case, then we need to play 12 men then, John. We need to play the 12 men, so that we've done it before, we can do it again. But again, John, that's for the preview of the Glasgow Derby on, when will we do that? When's the final? Sunday? So we'll do the preview on Saturday, John, for the big Glasgow Derby.
Aye, well, can't wait. Look, we may be doing John Beaton a disservice here. Sometimes he has a good game, Sandy. You've got to hand it to him. Sometimes he does have a good game, and sometimes he has turned over decisions for us on VAR. So it's not all bad, he might be okay.
Well, John, let's have a wee quick 2-minute discussion on VAR, right? Because the referees can't now just willy-nilly give decisions, against Celtic, like penalties, like offside goals, like all the main decisions. They can't just willy-nilly give them against Celtic or any club for that matter now, because everything now goes to VAR. Are you happy with VAR, or would you prefer it to go back to the way it was? What's your thought? Just a wee quick one, John, before we go, because this is interesting. You said there about John Beaton. He's looked at the VAR monitor. I remember the Celtic Rangers game last season where it was at the foul and the build up to the goal, and he came back to the foul and he gave the foul to Celtic and disallowed the goal. I thought that was very, very soft. I thought Rangers should have been allowed that goal, personally. So you're right, John. Beaton could have easily said what I thought there. It was soft, the goal stands. So what's your thoughts on VAR, John? Are you happy with it, or would you like it to go back to the way it was?
I don't know, but touching on John Beaton, I think he's quite fair. I mean, I know sometimes you look at some decisions and you think, that's pretty poor, and then you look at another one, you go, fair enough, he got that right. And it's the same with all referees, Xander. Every referee makes mistakes, every referee makes good decisions. VAR, John Beaton turned over a vital decision, and I agreed with you. I think chopping the goal off was maybe a wee bit soft, but he did. So you've got to look at that, James Doran, and think some decisions that he's did some favours, John Beaton. But I think the problem is with John Beaton is when it's no Celtic that Rangers is playing, he tends to maybe give Rangers a penalty, a soft penalty or whatever. I'm not sure what the problem is, but to me, aye, it's always a worry for Celtic fans with John Beaton, but sometimes he's been quite fair with Celtic, Xander. But VAR itself, am I glad it's there? Aye, I'm glad it's there. Although you look at some decisions and you keep thinking, how's VAR no looking at that? How are they no looking at this? But at the end of the day, I think it's a good thing that it's there, to be honest with you, because I think things were a lot worse before that, Xander. I think referees could get away with murder. And I think now they're under the spotlight a lot more. So I think VAR's definitely helped.
Yeah, I think the only thing with VAR for me now is things like the handball rule. That's, we've been given penalties against us, and John Beaton has given us a few, John, against us, to be fair to James. But that's no down to the referee, John. That's down to the interpretation of the rule, isn't it? The handball rule. So the referees one year have been told to do this, the next year they're told to do that. But we've been given some crazy handballs against us, haven't we?
Aye, definitely. Aye. Like, we kind of kid ourselves. That's what I'm saying. Sometimes VAR really infuriates you. And we'll go back to that game at Tynecastle. Yang getting sent off for nothing. Celtic getting a penalty against them for nothing. So you've got to go back to things like that as well and say, aye, it's a bad thing. But it would have been given anyway.
Yeah.
Without VAR, it would have been given anyway, apart from the Yang sending off. That would never have happened. So there's the good and the bad, 50-50, take it or leave it. But me personally, I think it's a good thing that it's there.
I think it's good as regards to goals. So when it comes to goals, if a team scores a goal against you and he's 2 inches offside, John, it's a relief, isn't it? Because it's happened a few times, So yeah, it's, to me, I like it. I actually quite like it. Get the handball rule sorted. It's been a wee bit better this season, if I'm going to be honest. I think they've changed the rules, but the handball. I mean, how can you give a penalty for a handball when the ball's behind the player, and his hand's behind his back and it hits his hand from behind his back, things like that, John, And then there's the opposite way of looking at it, the Rangers game recently. I think it was the big shooter, he kicks the ball up off his hand inside the box. His hand is outstretched. It's a stone wall penalty, John, and they don't give it. So it works both ways, I suppose.
This is it. There's the good and the bad with everything, but VAR's no different. But aye, there is things that happen where it really infuriates you. But like I say, Xander, personally, I'm glad that it's there for reasons like what you said. You know what? Maybe a player's 2 inches offside, otherwise it would never have been given. So it's good for that kind of thing. It does catch that kind of stuff. I like that side of it. But there's another side that we don't like. There's things like it slows the game down after a goal. You can't celebrate until you know for sure, unless it's a screamer from outside the box, that kind of thing. But
yeah,
aye, so it does kind of slow the game down. It's changed the game a wee bit, but not too much. I'm all for it, VAR. For VAR, Xander. I'm glad it's there.
Yeah. Okay, John. Okay. Let's just hope Beaton has a decent game on Sunday, John. But we're not here to talk about the game on Sunday. Not quite yet, anyway. We will get to that. There's a massive game to go before Sunday, John. So is that it for the comments then?
Paul McEwen says, afternoon, hail, Celtic, and the Celtic women are well. Thanks for that, Paul.
Thanks, Paul. Cheers, Paul.
One club since 1888 says 3 points without being at our best. Well, I think we were okay. I just think the defence weren't at their best.
Yeah, we weren't at our best, were we? Defensively, it was poor. Off the ball, we were not the best either, John. The shutting down, all that kind of stuff sort of disappeared on Saturday, but it totally doesn't matter. 3 points, 3 goals in the bag. We move on to Dinamo Zagreb. Thanks for the comment.
Thanks, one club. And the last comment goes to Mad About Football, who says Spurs are in disarray.
Aye, they're in a wee bit of trouble, aren't they? The fans unhappy, venting their anger at big Ange Postecoglou when it was only, 9 months ago they were singing his praises, but that's just football for you, isn't it, John? But hopefully the big man can turn up at Ibrox on Thursday and get a decent result there.
I'm definitely hoping so. But we'll wait and see. We'll wait and see what happens there. I think Spurs should be good enough to go there and get a win. They should be okay. But while we're on Spurs, what do you think of their songbook, Sander? Spurs songbook. Their fans.
Come on, you Spurs, is it? Come on, you Spurs.
They've got. I
That's
think
it.
they
That
had
the
two.
song?
That's their songbook. They had two songs for about 100 years. Come on, you Spurs. Brilliant song. Well thought out. Great lyrics.
Well thought out.
And then you've got the old "Oh, when the Spurs go marching in." Brilliant again. That's classic song. That
Must have been up
brilliant.
all night writing that one, up to 3 a.m, writing that. They want to be in that number.
I want to be in that number when the Spurs go marching in. But it's a case of, I was listening to them yesterday. I'm thinking, listen to the songs that they've got. Two
Yeah.
crappy songs that it's an embarrassment to the game when the Spurs go marching in. And then, of course, they stole the song the Celtic fans sung about Ange Postecoglou.
Yeah, they'll not be singing that lately. Hopefully the Spurs will be in that number on Thursday night, John. So that's all we can say about their songbook. All right, that was good. That was funny. Right, folks, all the best to Celtic on Tuesday night, obviously. Come on, boys, we can do it. We can get these 3 points and get into that round of 16 playoff. That's all we're looking for. With a couple of games to spare, John, that would be good. If it's mathematically done on Tuesday night, that would be amazing. So good luck to Celtic. We'll do a post-match on Friday. It'll be probably Friday. But John, my final thought before you go.
Just like you says, it's get that 3 points and you're more or less guaranteed. Well, you're no guaranteed actually, but you're more or less guaranteed, like you says, but you're not actually guaranteed the playoff spot. I initially thought 11 points would be enough to get us that playoff spot, but there's a lot of teams in that position, Xander. A lot of teams in that position. So I'm just looking at that table again. It is a lot of Celtic supporters will be happy by what they see, but this depends on other results, of course. But I think we can get a win there. But I'm going to go for a draw. But I think we can get a win. I think we can. If we show up, we'll definitely get a win there on Tuesday night. But the whole team needs to show up 100% out of every player, Xander, and that's us 11 points with possibly an easier game at Celtic Park a couple of weeks later.
Yeah, that's it. Young boys up next. So, okay, John, that's it. That's it. It's all about Tuesday night just now. We'll go on to after the post-match, we'll go on to the Glasgow Derby, folks. Don't worry about that. That's coming up next. But it's all about Tuesday for us just now. Thanks for that, John. Thanks for coming on. Good luck to the boys. 2 each, 1-0 to Celtic. Either way, we'll take it. Preferably the 1-0 to Celtic. Any sort of win. We'll catch you on the post-match, John.
I'll catch you later, Xander. Hail, mate.
Hail, John. Catch you later.